Mason,
Yes, sir.
you want to hear a story?
I have no choice.
All right. So this was back when I was with the window and door company, and I had been on for about 6 months, and originally, basically didn't know what I was doing because it's very specialized with that type of a job. But we were in the service and warranty division, and this is for Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, Cave Creek, all those kind of homes. So basically, think 7-8 figures. That's the kind of house we're in all the time. Mm-hmm. So kind of like how Joe's been talking about those huge sliders, all that stuff. So we replace glass, we'll fix things that are broken, replace weather stripping. A lot of times it's like a punch list item. So we had this house in Cave Creek, and they had an issue with some of their glass, and they've got the decorative, they're called SDL bars, which basically they crisscross on the glass to make it look like you've got a whole bunch of different panes in there. So the guy that was in the service department with me for several months, he ended up leaving the company. He was a young guy who had a good amount of money, and he was kind of just doing the job because he was bored all day and needed to do something. And then at a certain point decided he was going to go do something else. He was going to go back to Michigan and remodel an apartment complex and see if he could sell it, which sounded like it kind of turned into a fiasco, but that was his deal, not mine. So got my friend Forrest a job over there, and so we were going to be working in the same department. His first day on the job. So we're getting told, hey, we've got these, I think we had the decorative bars that had to be replaced, and I think we had the glass as well that needed to be taken out of this door. It was probably 3 feet by 10 feet tall, something like that. So not too crazy for what kind of became the standard, but 6 months in, still trying to figure everything out, and no one exactly has a clear idea on here's how to go do this thing. So even the supervisor didn't know how to do it. He would try and find instructions online or from the manufacturer to tell us, here's how it should come apart, and it's some black and white drawing that doesn't show you, like, no, like, watch. So we go up there, we're doing our thing, we're getting ready to take the door completely off, set it on sawhorses, all that stuff. Lady of the house comes up to us. She's it's a cloudy day, pretty nice outside, and she goes, hey, are you guys going to be able to finish? We're like, yeah, why? And she's like, well, just want to let you know, there's a tornado warning coming in for this area. And we're like, oh, look around. We're like, huh.
Tornado in Arizona?
Yeah, but this is like Cave Creek up in the mountains type, like, so you remember like when there were tornadoes that touched down in like New River? This is like around that, I think that was that same storm.
Okay.
So, but just that's a little farther west. So, we didn't realize it was that same storm at the time. All we know is it's cloudy and we have a door. So we're like, yeah, we think we'll be fine. Like, we've got this patio that we're working under, and keep going. And all of a sudden, that storm hits. Super windy, rain is coming in so far sideways that patio that we thought we were safe under, we are drenching everything underneath it. So we're then having to scramble for like the next 30 minutes just to try and move everything to then like keep all our stuff dry. And I remember at one point I had to run around the entire house to go get something from the truck, and just basically almost up to my ankles in water, just soaking my shoes.
Jeez.
So we ended up getting it done.
Was the house safe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, the water was coming in just like up to probably a foot away from like the doorway entry. So it was like, all right, good. The house is safe, but we've got this door on sawhorses that we've got to like shove farther onto the patio. So we're moving furniture. It's like stupid fiasco. But we ended up getting it done, which was good. But it was just one of those things where it's like, hey, welcome to your first day on the job.
That sucks.
Yeah, so that kind of, I don't know.
That's a good jump start into the job.
Yeah, like, let's set the bar for what you're going to deal with.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, that's worst case scenario. At least you got it done, though.
Yeah, that was a very interesting day.
I would hate that.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. It's one of those things where in the moment, it's terrible, but at the same time, it's like, it makes the job fun.
Yeah, when I used to work at a funeral home, and my first day, I was like a groundskeeper, did all like the maintenance and stuff. First day on the job, we're painting the embalming room. Embalming room is where they take the dead people, they put them on a table and put the fluids in them and all that stuff and sew them up if they need to. He's like, come on, we gotta go paint this room. Opens it up, go in there, just two old, dead, naked ladies just sitting on a table. Never seen a dead person before. The smell is something you'll never forget. It's just from dead people. And yeah, my first 2 days, I was up on ladders, working around. Of course, they were covered and stuff when we were working, but not when you first go in there. And so I had to paint a room around a bunch of dead people.
Nice.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Talk about awkward.
Yes.
Yeah. So I feel your pain.
That's a different kind of pain. That's like, I don't know, that's something else. I'll give that one to you right there.
All right.
What'd you gonna do this last week?
This last week, we busted out all the Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
Our Christmas tree, our fake one, is packed away. So we're using some of my parents' old Christmas decorations because most of ours was packed up. And then I think we're going to get a real Christmas tree this year.
Yeah.
So the kids are excited.
Yeah.
Always makes your house smell nice.
And if anyone's missed the first episode, Mason's living with his
Dad with my wife and 2 kids.
While they're waiting for their new build to be completed, which the date has moved from the end of summer 22 to October to November to now
End of February.
2023.
It's awesome.
So, yeah, nice.
Hey, glass half full. You gotta look at the bright side.
You gonna be one of those people where you got to go with the super authentic tree that was chopped down by a real lumberjack in Wisconsin, dragged behind a truck for 2 miles, and then set up in your
I would
house,
love to get a license to go up north and chop my own down, but
Yeah.
I don't have the tools or time for that. So we're gonna go to one of the tree farms.
Costco has a batch of them right now. I was over there recently, and they're selling all the real trees.
They sell them outside.
The truck was outside, but I think they had them inside.
Yeah, I'll go to a cheap place. I don't plan on doing it, but it's always fun to set up for Christmas, like, especially because the kids really like it.
Yeah, my mom started setting up this week, and she was bugging me about, hey, can you put the lights on the house? And I was like, I got to see. I've got a busy week. And then she finally was just like, all right, I'm getting your cousin. I was like, all right, sounds good.
Yeah, so that's literally what I did over the weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, dad stuff.
Fun.
What'd you do?
My family and I made that bread that I was talking about last week. So,
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did it come out good?
yeah, so we ended up having to change the recipe just a little bit because this is going to be very intricate. But so apparently the recipe calls for this specific kind of yeast because we make this thing like from scratch, not like by any kind of dough or anything like that. So it's super expensive, and basically more and more stores aren't carrying it anymore. And the final one basically is not carrying it anymore. So we had to find a substitution, and we were all nervous that it wasn't going to turn out the same because it's like, this is like 6 generations, like we've been doing this thing. And but no, the way that we found the substitution ended up basically tastes the exact same. So it was.
What places did you try?
Safeway used to carry it for quite a while. AJ's Fine Foods, and then
Oh, AJ's didn't have it?
what they did for a while. So like Safeway had it for a while.
Yeah.
AJ's had it for several years, and then AJ's just discontinued it this year. And from what it sounded like, they were saying this is the time of year when the most of it is bought. So they were kind of scratching their head. Even the guy at the store was like, I'm scratching my head going, I don't know why they didn't order this because this is when we sell it.
Yeah.
The only thing that they could really think of was with some of the inflation things going on, that specific yeast only lasts for like 7 to 10 days.
Oh, gotcha.
So you get it in, it's expensive as all get out, and then it's got to sell or it's getting thrown away. So basically it was like, hey, let's not even waste the money on it.
You should have
discontinue
tried
that.
Trader Joe's.
I think we've looked at
They still didn't have it?
well, just over the years, we've looked
yeah.
all over. Just because it's, like I
Gotta
said, it used to be at Safeway. So
order
it's easy to
online
get.
next time.
Yeah, online though, like it was. I forget how expensive it was, but basically the stuff that we got now is like a third of the price, if not.
But if you
less
want
than
it authentic, you got to pay the price.
It tastes the same and basically it's the same process. So, like
All right, that's fair.
yeah, we're saving money. So did that, and then see what else happened this week. Installed a security door yesterday, so that was interesting at this lady's house because
Those are fairly easy, aren't they? Or they're supposed to be?
they're supposed to be. So the only reason why this one was a little more difficult was because this door is in a block wall that basically the block wall sticks out a couple inches, and the security screen doors, the height sticks above the ledge where that door would go by several inches.
Of course.
And so basically had to attach some wood to the walls to be able to then attach the screen to it. And then whoever trimmed out the door itself.
Not good.
No, because they were both at basically the whole pieces are a 45-degree angle to where like you could fit a sheet of paper behind it into where the stud is. And on one of them, it had no nails in it holding it in, so it was just tension fit and
nice.
tacked on with a little paint. And then the other one had 2 nails in it that I was basically able to almost just rip out with my hands. So, yeah, but
Does that just mean you're freakishly strong?
no, that
Okay.
means that they did a very bad job.
Speaking of building, though, I forgot what I did do this weekend. I finally finished building out my cold tub.
Oh, really?
Yeah, bought a freezer, some pumps for it, cut some holes into it, got a little thermostat that automatically shuts it on and off to keep it at the same temperature.
Dang.
It's cold. I got to get used to it.
Why do you need the pumps for it?
I just turn it on and off sometimes
Oh.
to make the water last longer, so you don't have to refill it all the time.
Oh.
It's just like a little pond thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I just have seen it before where some people will say like, "Hey, take silicone, go around the perimeter, cool it, and you're good to go."
Oh yeah, I sealed it. I put caulking around it. I even did some Flex Seal. But I made little 2 holes at the top. One to put like an aquarium water purifier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the little stone thing, the water thing. It's got a hose and it like pumps air into the water.
Oh, okay,
It makes
yeah,
it
yep.
kind of like helps sterilize it.
Yep.
And then another hole for me to put my thermometer in. And then I just put the pump in sometimes to put it on for an hour or 2 a day. Just so it doesn't sit still, because I don't use it every day. So
Yeah. How often do you use it?
probably 3 to 4 times
A week?
a week.
How long?
Well, you're supposed to, I think studies say you're supposed to like 9 to 11 minutes. No, a week total.
Oh, I was
So
about
like
to
3
say,
to 4 minute
whoa.
sessions. Full body immersion.
Like up to the neck?
Yeah. I've done it 4 times. And on the 4th time, I got all the way to my neck because I'm a little baby.
Nice.
But it's cold. The boys will just go in.
Yeah.
The little one, Cooper, he sticks his whole head in. I'm more worried that he's going to pass out from shock.
Oh, man.
Well, that's fun. That's nice.
Yeah. I did start this week. I started doing this thing every day, either 100 push-ups or 150 air squats, and then also like kind of doing like penalty push-ups or penalty squats. Like if I'm trying to make sure. Usually, I'm on time for most things, or on time within like a margin of a minute or 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to make it where it's like I'm always on time. So if I'm late to things now, it's like, all right, there's an additional 50 that get tacked on.
Oh, jeez.
I think the kids are
Interrupting like they're not supposed to?
either that or just using the restroom.
Yeah, that, or they know Lance's office is back there, so they might draw him a picture or mess with it, so it's fine.
Yeah. Cool. All right, should we do this thing?
Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sledgehammers in the Office podcast, where we celebrate the heavy hitters on the job site and in the office. Today, I'm joined by MasonOxendale. What are we drinking, sir?
We have the Smirnoff Ice Pink Lemonade. If If you don't like beer, this thing is delicious. And it's 4.5%. Just saying.
And then, as always, I've got the chocolate milk from Shamrock Farms because they do it the best. As we talked about last week.
You got to start advertising Shamrock Farms, see if they can get us to sponsor us.
Yeah, just start sending them clips.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, if we could do that, I'd be so happy. Hey, I just need a quart every week.
That's it. It's chump change to them.
Right. Joe's not with us today. He was taking some time off to go have some fun, spend the weekend, basically doing a little mini vacation. And then the plan was to do a real estate special today, and we were hoping to have Scott with us, but he's got some people in the family that were under the weather, so he's playing
the vid, possibly.
We don't want to admit that because some people are still freaking out about that.
Who cares? It's our podcast.
Fine, whatever. Basically, he's playing good dad, good husband tonight, and so taking care of them, and we expect to see him back next week. So, but since it is the two of us, one of the things we're going to be jumping into here in a second is talking to Mason. He mentioned he used to work at a funeral home for a while, but we're going to get into a little bit of what he's done previously, what he's done in real estate, things like that. Before we do that, we're going to talk about some of the metrics that we track regularly, and that's going to be our inventory and then some of our building metrics that we just pull off of Home Depot's website because that's how we roll. So active inventory in Arizona is going to be 14,891 homes on the market. In the last month, we've closed 4,064. Interest rate, we have a lender that we're very happy to recommend for people here in Arizona this week they had a 5.75 FHA and a 6.125 conventional. So if you guys are thinking about buying a house right now and that sounds like an interest rate you want, then we know who to connect you with. Reach out, shoot us a DM. 2x4s, 367 per 2x4x8 plywood. This one is up a little bit over the last time we talked about it, and it's $1,580 per basically a half-inch sheet. And then Romex is the same as it was before, 47 cents a foot for $14.2. Before we get into talking about you, anything stand out to you in those numbers?
No, I mean, like, as much as it, compared to the last 2 years, as much as it feels like it's a buyer's market right now, the numbers still show that, the numbers, amount of inventory show that it's more of a neutral market. So it's good for both buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
Now, the higher interest rate maybe probably pushed it more into a buyer's market, not even the highest interest rate kind of stuck us with the normal inventory, but like nobody really wanted to buy. But now with the interest rates coming back to normal, I think you're going to start seeing some buyers start buying some stuff, and sellers' homes aren't going to be on the market as long.
Yeah.
So,
which I know that we're seeing some of the inventory take down a little bit. We saw it cross the 16,000 mark a couple weeks ago, and now we're sitting just below 15, and that's kind of just been this just slow decline. So I think a big part of that can be explained in we're just past Thanksgiving. We're going to be going into Christmas, so this is not the ideal time for people to be moving. You don't want to be pulling kids out of school, trying to get them into a new school. Yes, you could get them in for the second semester, but sometimes that summer is going to work out the best for people just so that it's the easiest transition. So a lot of this, we'll probably be expecting some of those numbers to tick up in January, or depending on what the trend looks like, we might be able to see a rebound with that in January. Closed-wise, that one, we haven't dropped below the 4,000 mark yet in a 30-day period, which I'm happy about. I'll be interested to see what happens there. Like I said, wouldn't surprise me if that happens with us going into Christmas and all that stuff. So, and then I know we've covered this before, and there is one of our lenders shared a video with us where a guy was giving a presentation kind of trying to lay out, hey, here's what we're seeing as far as trends. Here's what we're kind of expecting. But with this interest rate right now, it's a lot of people are saying this isn't something that is out of the norm. That's completely true. The part that I always come back to, though, is when we've maxed out people for the last 2 years, on a 3%, 3.5% interest rate that drove things through the roof, and then jumped in another 3%. That's still that's helped with bringing us to more of that neutral market.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think the interest rates, depending on what they do over the next 6 months, is going to drive a lot of the inventory up or down.
Yep.
Because, I mean, we're in Phoenix. Everybody's moving here, so like, I don't foresee any kind of decline or the homes that you buy not appreciating over time. I mean, granted, it's not going to be like the last 2 years where you buy a house and then the next week you already made 10 grand on it kind of thing. Housing market's never been like that before, has it? At least not since I've been around or alive.
Probably not since.
Well,
what about like when things were going crazy between 2005 to 2007? You might have seen some of the same things, but
yeah, that's true. But so I think that if you have to buy a house, it's a good time to buy it because as long as you're going to be in the house over 2 years, your house is going to appreciate and you're going to make, if you have to sell in 2 years, it's not like you're going to lose money on it.
Right.
But that's just saying that nothing crazy happens because nobody can predict anything like
right.
9/11. Knock on wood.
Just threw that one out there, huh? You could have thrown out COVID. You could have thrown out anything else. 9/11.
First thing that came to mind. We can't predict that kind of stuff.
Never forget, I guess.
At least COVID, it happened over in China. We saw it coming this way, But 2 planes flying into buildings, you don't see that coming. Is that a sore subject for you?
No, I just have a terrible joke in my head right now.
Yeah, don't let that leave.
All right, we're gonna. Oh my gosh.
But to leave it on that note, they're appreciating, but don't buy a house because somebody told you to buy a house.
Yeah.
Like, if you can afford it, it's in your range, the house is what you want, then you get it. Otherwise, don't.
And on that note, too, as far as one of the things that we always encourage our clients to do is work with a local lender. There's some things that are very particular for Arizona in regards to the pre-qualification. So it's great to have that when buying a home, because I've dealt with even a lender who is out of state, and within my first year, I had them send me a pre-qualification letter, and I emailed them back, and I'm like, what is this? And they're like, it's a pre-qualification letter. I'm like, well, let me send you the real one. Mm-hmm. And then they had to fill it out from there. And it's like, come on, guys. But not just that, as far as the local lenders are going to know what's going on, it's if you're not working with a big bank, their volume is not going to be the same as the big bank, so you're going to get more attention than you would just being in a stack of files. I've had it both ways as far as the lending goes. So the big bank, it was very hard to get a hold of anyone. Whereas the local lenders that we deal with on a regular basis, that we have good relationships with, we see them, 2 of them at least once a month. One of them that I like to work with that I had on the show was Cameron from Fairway Mortgage. Him and I are emailing basically at least once a week, and then I'll call him up about certain things, and I've called him at ridiculous times of night. So when you have someone like that, it's not just going to be that, hey, your interest rate is 5.75 or 6.125. When that interest rate goes down, they have your best interest in mind to say, hey, if for some reason that drops back to 3.5, they're going to be giving you a call, because they're going to be able to let you know, hey, your monthly payment can drop by several $100s if we just refi you at the new rate. Mm-hmm. Big bank might not be doing that because they've got thousands of loans that they're taking care of or looking after.
Yeah, and then on top of it, a lender can make or break a deal as far as getting it closed on time. So not necessarily make or break a deal, but they're going to be able to dictate whether you can close when you're supposed to close or if it's a week later. I've got a bunch of horror stories where non-local lenders, they just dropped the ball. They thought they could get it done in a certain amount of time, but couldn't, and we got pushed back a week and a half. That pissed off my buyers.
Yep.
And then it always looks bad on you.
Yep.
Get a lender that your realtor has a relationship with. That would work best.
Yeah, the big bank that I worked with that one time, there was a reason why we went through them. I had encouraged them to go with a different lender, but in the end, it made the most sense financially for my clients to go with their banking institution. But within being under contract for 3 days, they told me, hey, we're going to need an extension on the close of escrow. And then I think when we were 2 weeks out or 10 days, maybe it was 7 to 10 days out, they told me, hey, we need another like 7 to 10 days to get this done. And whenever I wanted to get a hold of them, it was like you'd have to call the phone number, and then you don't get the person. It goes to another person that has to go to like their supervisor, and you got to call like so. Moral of the story, long-winded way of saying, trust the people that you're working with in regards to your real estate agent, and then the partners that they like to work with. There's a reason why they do that. It's not just because, we get kickbacks from them or something. They can't give us money.
Yeah.
It's the reason why we work together is because they're good at their jobs. That's it.
Yeah. And just in every area of life, ask questions.
Yes.
If you don't know, ask questions. They tell you to do something, why?
Yep.
And then if they don't know, then there's a red flag.
Yep.
But yeah.
Speaking of asking questions,
Yep.
let's move into a little bit about you. Let's talk about the origin story of MasonOxendale. Where are you from? How'd you get here? Go from there.
My story began at about 8:35 a.m. on a Wednesday, March 1st, 1989, when I was born. In Arizona, born and raised. And that's how I got here.
That's the whole story.
Yeah.
Just birthed you out, walked you to a real estate office.
Yeah, would you want me to walk you through every year?
No, not necessarily, but maybe some highlights as far as like, what'd you do graduating high school? Did you go to college? Did you get a job? What were we looking at work history wise?
Yeah, no. High school, Centennial High School, played basketball. I worked at Champ Sports selling shoes for about 6 months before my senior year high school started. And then I played basketball. And then after I graduated, I worked at Costco for 6 to 8 months. I actually didn't mind working at Costco. It was pretty cool. Even when I was doing carts, just collecting carts. Summer sucked, but then I got a chance to go play college basketball over at Phoenix College. So I did that for a year. And then I had the goal to get a degree in kinesiology at ASU. That didn't work out. I changed my major like 3 or 4 different times. So I went to ASU. I lived up in Tempe for a year. Didn't graduate. Don't have a college degree. But then that was when my wife and I started dating again. And then a couple years later, we got married. Yeah, again, because we went to the same grade school in high school, and we dated the summer of 8th grade going into freshman year. And then freshman year, she claimed that she dumped me because I was mean, but I think it was just because she was jealous of other girls. That's my opinion. But we stayed friends. She played basketball. I played basketball. But anyway, so then we got together, and then I started working during that time, I worked at Peoria High School. I worked as a one-on-one with a special ed kid. Had cerebral palsy, bunch of learning disabilities, so he had to have like a one-on-one. That was tough. That was 2 years. But while I was there, I coached basketball at Peoria High School. Oh, shoot, man. I coached there for like 8 years.
Dang.
But year 2 into it, 2012, we won the championship. Got a ring as a coach. Never got one as a player, but I got one as a coach, which is cool. But we had some studs on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of them's playing overseas, making a bunch of money. Other kids went to college. Yeah, we had some hoopers on there. But then I started working for my family's business, which is in the funeral industry. They have a funeral home and a cemetery. Are the kids?
They're playing with golf clubs on the wall.
As long as they don't put a hole in it. But then I started working at the funeral home. Like I said, I was like cemetery manager, did maintenance. Then I started doing some more inside work stuff. I was a licensed cremationist, still am too. So, actually during COVID, they actually gave me a call and asked me, because they were had a little too many bodies over there at the funeral home, like too many to put in the fridge. And in Arizona, you weren't allowed to cremate people at nighttime because the crematory, if it blows out like nasty smoke and stuff, you can't see it at nighttime, so you weren't allowed to. But they lifted that during 2020, and for about 6 to 8 months, 3 to 4 times a night, I would go over there and cremate like 2 or 3 bodies at night.
Nice.
Yeah, $50 a head. You know what I'm saying?
We're clipping that for your Instagram.
But yeah, anyways, and then so my uncle's always been in real estate. I actually almost got into real estate at a high school, but then I got invited to go play basketball, so I did that. So I didn't want to work at the funeral home anymore. Got my license, worked with my uncle part-time for a little bit, but that's when the market was still a little bit slow. And then that's when I switched over to a different team, brokerage in 2018, 19. And been doing real estate since 2017. So almost 6 years.
Dang.
And that's what brings me here today.
Nice.
That's how I got here in this seat.
Awesome. All right. Well, I know we had a couple other things on the slate. So what do we want to jump into? Sellers' expectations or new builds first? I know you've got a bone to pick with new builds.
No, screw new builds. No, I'm joking. We can talk about both of them as I usher my kids away, because
He's got to be a dad for a minute.
yeah. Well, I don't want to yell on the mic. You know,
I can just mute it.
I'm a very nice dad.
I can just mute it for a second.
Yeah, but both the mics.
We'll mute it. There's gonna be an awkward.
You can cut this out too.
Yeah, that's true. And we're back.
I was nice to him. Don't worry. Well, I mean, so new builds. Not all new builds are created equal, but there are a lot more going. I mean, like the past 2.5 years, there was a waiting list to go on new builds. And they used to not pay realtors any commissions for bringing buyers over there. Mm-hmm. But all of a sudden, they start crawling back now because they need people to buy them because there's so many new builds going up in Arizona.
Define crawling back.
Stopping by the office with gifts, offering more than the going rate on the resale market for commission on the commission side. Being nice to you, calling you, returning emails, stuff that they weren't doing before because they were feeling high and mighty.
Following up on inquiries from a long time ago saying, hey, I know you were in our office a while ago.
Exactly. I mean,
we did not give a shit about you then.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like my new build story is actually, I was talking to another realtor that used to work with us. He's had a client in the same community that I am on the same street, just further down, that it's been over a year. And if you don't know that a year is, unless you're getting a multi-million-dollar home build, that's way too long to get for a house to be built.
Which, at the height of the craziness, and when everyone was saying supply chain, COVID, all the stereotypical answers for a while, yes, that made sense. But it also made sense because, like Mason was saying, there would be about 6 people per one for one lot. So they would do lotteries as far as they would say, hey, we've got 6 lots that are opening up. We've got 24 to 36 names, and we're going to just pick the first people. And if you don't respond within this amount of time, we're picking the next one.
Yep.
So that's when things got to the point where it was up to a year. My brother bought a new build and moved in, I believe it was 2019, before everything started going crazy. But it took they told him, I think it was going to be 5 to 6 months to build. They got him in in 4 to 5. They got him in earlier than expected because they were just banging out homes. So part of the whole new build experience that Mason is going through right now, one from other conversations seems to be some issues with the builder and
lack of communication up the chain.
Yep.
People not doing their jobs.
Yep. And that's not communication from Mason's end. They've taken care of all the finishes as far as, hey, when you need something, we get it back to you. This is more the management of the jobs. And obviously, when you know that, hey, a neighbor's going through the same thing, it kind of sets a trend.
And I didn't want to, go down the rabbit hole of that again because, there are those horror stories, but for the most part, there's a lot of new builds going up. You're probably not going to be able to get a house built between 4 to 6 months 4 or 5 years ago necessarily. The expectation, I would probably put closer to 6 to 8 months or whatever they tell you. But the prices, they're better than the resale. Excuse me. They're better than, for the most part, than the resale values. There's some communities out there that, you can buy a stock house starting at $350, plus that's not including the lot fee and stuff, but you're able to pick your own lot. And most of the time, a lot of these new build communities, their base models of things are still super nice.
Yes.
So it's not like you're getting laminate, the lowest grade wood on the cabinets, the lowest grade carpet and stuff. It's it's very nice. So you can get an affordable home versus something that you might get $350 in the resale value or realm right now.
Which, and I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but my uncle he works with a lot of new build communities, and he was telling me that some of them are having a 40% inventory sitting. And so he works with communities nationwide, so what he's seeing might not necessarily be indicative of what we see here in Arizona. But I know that from taking out clients as well, that there's going to be some people where they'll start the process, and for whatever reason, they have to cancel. Or with some of the price adjustments, because they bought it when it was at the peak, they'll cancel, lose their earnest deposit, and then basically come back to buy the same home, but the price difference offsets. So, but sometimes those homes, if they walk away from that particular build, you can come in and buy that one that now has a shorter build time. You don't get to choose the finishes necessarily, but like Mason said, a lot of the finishes are pretty nice already. So if you're like, hey, I want a good place that's clean, an area that is definitely going to be appreciating, and as those communities build, if you're buying some of the first lots, they're cheaper than they are by the time they're building the last one. So you're going to see instant appreciation from that, and you'd be able to also get in a little quicker. So it's one of those things where you can go to the community directly and talk to them, but at the same time, it doesn't cost you anything as the buyer to bring in a real estate agent. So have them come and look at it with you and be able to say, hey, they're saying that they've got these incentives that look great, but I know of other new build communities that are doing the same thing for maybe with a similar house or a house that better fits your lifestyle in regards to where's your work, where's your church, where's the community that you hang out with, stuff like that.
Yeah, and you're also, those sales agents do have a real estate license, but they also hang their license with the person building your house, the company. So like you said, it's worth it. Bring somebody that's done new builds. Because they'll be able to walk you through there, especially when you do your walkthroughs and stuff. They'll help you pick out little tiny things to always look for.
Steer you away from a builder you might not want to work with.
Yeah, that's true. But if it's a house they love and a community love,
Yeah.
You can't. So basically, all my buyer clients, I always try to send them a list of some new build communities. So you'd be like, hey, you want to go check it out kind of deal. But they usually too are a little bit more on the outskirts.
Yep.
So, I mean, most of the time that's right. It's not, they're not in desirable areas. Well, I mean, they are desirable. A lot of people are very picky about where they want to
They're
be.
up and coming areas. So if you're working, if you're saying, hey, I need to be Central Phoenix because that's where work is, that's where the kids' school is. But the new build communities, they're going to be, you got to think of at least Arizona like a big circle.
Yeah.
It's the farther out you go from Central Phoenix, the newer it gets. And we just keep pushing that border farther and farther.
And the other thing is that if you don't use your buyer's agent, you use somebody of them. After you close, they're not going to send you any gifts. Most agents, will send you a closing gift. A lot of agents do a lot of follow-up like we do. I mean, you buy a house with us, 99% chance you're getting a Costco pie come around Thanksgiving. Plus, maybe one or two cool things. And you're not going to get that with those people.
Which it boils down to, like you said earlier.
Yeah, no, I'm bribing them. Yeah.
Well, yes.
Right now.
That too. But like you said earlier, when you walk into a sales office, that's a salesman working for that builder. If you walk in with your own real estate agent, that real estate agent works for you in your best interests. So that sales agent is looking to get the sale, sell the lot, go to the next community once they've sold everything. The agent that you work with, 9 times out of 10, their goal is to build a relationship with you. Because if they do a good job, they know that most people are going to move every 5 to 7 years. Mm-hmm. And they want to be that guy or girl that is the one that, hey, Mason killed it, Scott killed it, whoever it is, and they want to be that realtor for life.
Yeah, they're not trying to make most. So I'm speaking more for me. We're not trying to make a quick buck on a sale, build that relationship. Just like any business, if somebody does something really good for you, you're more likely to refer them out. So that's how we roll.
All right, I know you've got a bunch of anxious kiddos. So do we want to look at our house review for the week and then wrap it up for the night?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to throw this up on the screen. Oh, no, wrong thing. All right, here we go. All right, Mason. It's being slow. So we have a $600,000 home in Sun City. This says Sun City, but it should be Sun City West in Arizona. So,
no, it's Sun City, 85373.
Oh, really? That's supposed to be Sun City
It's West. Arizona's weird. They have the weirdest borders for cities.
Yeah. All right. So, but here's why this is important, and then we'll get into some of the details. So, before Arizona got known as the cheap real estate place, it was known for a great retirement community in Sun City. It was known for a lot of wealthy people retiring to Scottsdale. And there is a city in Arizona, Sun City, that is 55 plus exclusive in 99% of the cases. There are a few of them, though, that are available for any family that wants to look at them. And that's going to become important because when someone doesn't realize that there's a Sun City or Sun City West home that is all ages, sometimes it can get skipped over because they see Sun City and go, oh, I'm not eligible. Mm-hmm. So we'll get into why that's important here in a minute, but let's take a look through the house. So for the people listening on the audio, we're looking at a $600,000 list price. It's had just about a $40,000 price cut on November 16th. 5 bed, 5 bathrooms, 3,400 square feet. It's got a 4-car garage, 2 stories with a balcony. You've got some views looking over the rest of the communities. You've got a pool in the backyard. Then we'll get into the house. We've got tile in part of the living area. We've got, I believe that's wood in the other. always just want to make sure it's wood and not just
Yeah.
a wood look tile.
It just looks shiny though.
Yeah, it makes me think it was just cleaned, like waxed or something. Because that's more of like a wood look thing.
Yeah.
So, kitchen with more of the dark brown cabinets. Everything's pretty modern. Bathrooms have been updated. They've got some decorative glass in there.
Yeah, they've definitely been upgraded and decorated to the seller's choice
Yes.
of their preference.
Yes. This looks like the master tub, shower. Looks like a TV in front of the tub.
Yeah, or just a picture. I don't know.
We'll zoom into that one. If that's not a TV, great idea. You should definitely do that. Anyways, let's see. Going through here. Then we have another balcony looking out over the community. Bedrooms. This looks like a shower that has been completely customized because it looks like you've got body sprayers, handheld. Yeah. They've got decorative artwork on the wall. Like Mason said, very custom. So, you know what I'll start doing? I'll start putting should I put the addresses in the description of the podcast or just now?
Why not? It's a free plug to whoever's selling this house. It's one of our...
That's true. It's one of our fellow agents.
I wouldn't be mad if somebody plugged one of my listings.
It's one of our fellow agents at Realty One Group.
As long as you're not talking trash about it.
Yeah, which sometimes we do. But we're giving them pointers, not talking trash. They've got waterfall feature in the pool. Looks like a very nice lounge area.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. As far as what I'm seeing, construction side, everything looks pretty clean. Layout might be the only thing I'd say is not a huge fan of where the kitchen is oriented.
Yeah, it's not the most desirable layout and color scheme.
Yeah.
I mean, the browns, that's definitely something that, my mom really liked. So that could be I don't know why that would be a turnoff for some people, because all you got to do is change some paint and stuff and it's an easy fix. But that could be a turnoff to buyers. A lot of the times, too, when you're buying a house in this price range, the different transition to multiple floors
Yep,
is
just like
a
we talked about last
little
week.
eyesore. Yeah, but we're just being, picky buyers like a lot of them are. You're going to get your most value in your master bath and your kitchen, and the master bath's nothing to, sneeze at. It's basic. It's nice. It's clean.
Here's what's interesting to me, though. This looks like the master bathroom where you've got the tub shower combo. But then later on, we see this. Where is it? This one.
That one. That's a side one, though.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But
Yeah.
they went and put all the fancy body sprayers and everything in there.
What is that? Oh, their iPad
Yeah.
jamming out.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's an awesome house. I mean, I've actually looked at this house to purchase for myself.
So as far as you're looking at this, like you said, you've looked at this on the personal side. So kind of combining that personal side, but also the realtor side. What do you see in this house? What do you like about this house? What made you not pull the trigger on it?
The 4-car garage looks like you got a good view. I haven't been to this house yet. The backyard is also awesome. It's got a lot of things in it. I wish there would. I don't know. It's pictures are deceiving. These aren't my favorite pictures because I don't feel like you can see a lot. But there's a lot of carpet everywhere. I don't personally like the different transitions of the different types. Like the upstairs is a little different. I like the loft. The bathrooms are weird. That doesn't bother me as much as it bothers my wife. I already said the 4-car garage. Look, it's got a lot of space too. So honestly, you'd probably just get rid of the spa and put a little basketball hoop back there, which would be cool. But it's got a lot of cool features. The kitchen, not the biggest fan of the brown, but it's very square, not very open. And keep in mind, like, if we saw this before we got our new build, we probably would have went and seen it and had a real conversation. But we have our new build where we have everything custom to how we want it. We like our layout and everything. So it's like, it is cheaper than our new build is. But factoring, if we were to make this house look very similar to the house that we're getting, it'd probably cost too much to do that, or, it wouldn't be a great enough thing to go through that headache to do all of it.
Yeah. But
I mean,
overall, very clean house. Like, I think it presents really well. And then even the use of the balconies, I think for the right buyer especially, that's going to be a huge selling point. And then the reason I wanted to look at this one today was just because it has the Sun City.
I know. I'm surprised it's been on the market this long. But I remember I used to live in Cross River when it first started. And our house, the first time we tried to sell it, was on the market for 6 months. And I think a lot of times that Sun City zip code I don't know why it would, but I just think it can.
And I've done this before. So when I found out about this pocket of homes that were available for people who are under 55, like, it did kind of make me relook at things, and that's why I wanted to kind of showcase this here. But I think a lot of agents will see if they have something pop up on their search that says Sun City or Sun City West. Sometimes they'll just block it because they're like, some agents will put information and put something that's all ages, and it's really 55 plus. So
they're so robotic with their searches, they plug in, they take away no Sun City West, no Sun City. Yeah, things like that. They just very robotically put things in and then bring the search up and send it to them.
Yep.
Where, I don't do that. I might, some areas that they definitely don't want, I'll take it out.
Yep.
But I always draw a map because, I've lived here my whole life, so I know certain areas. Be like, oh, this is a nice little area. They'll like that,
Yep.
and customize. Because that way, I'd rather send somebody too many homes than leave something out like this.
Yep.
So,
and that's something as far as this is specific for Arizona, obviously, but whatever state you're in, as far as it's like, talk to an agent that you know. Like, if you're in Arizona, talk to Mason, talk to Scott, because they know those things. They've been here for a very long time. So they know, like, hey, there's some things that maybe others don't know that they can clue you into to say, hey, this home, like, they've taken a $40,000 price cut already, but for it being in that location, that price should be able to hold up.
Yeah,
that
and it's got a
640
pool.
should be able to hold up.
That's why I
very
question
well.
it. I kind of want to go look at it now because, obviously nobody's living in this house. You can tell by the picture. So I wonder if the pictures and the house, they don't really match up. Like if it's dirty or things in there. Like even having a clean, crystal clear pool versus something green in it is it'll be like, oh, I don't know, maybe this house versus, let's put an offer in right now.
Yep.
So I'm just curious, that could be an issue.
You busy tomorrow?
You're going to the Grand Canyon tomorrow.
Yeah, but in the afternoon.
No. Let's go look at it.
Yeah, we could. We could even videotape it and then throw it at the end of the podcast for everyone too.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Actually, no, because it'll be in the video by the time we post it.
So just don't turn it off.
Yeah.
We need those watch minutes, guys. All right. Anything else in this house?
No, I think we should go look at this house. It'd be cool just to see why. Or it might be an awesome, I don't know. But yeah, so I think that'll be make the video of it, and that'll be a good segue for next week when we talk about sellers' expectations versus the reality of the market and different ways sellers can use their sellers' concessions to help entice buyers to purchase their home.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I know that your kiddos are anxiously awaiting you to be done, so
I got to pee too.
Well, I guess that's another reason. But we'll wrap it up for the evening. Hit them with where to find you, and if there's anything else you want to plug.
The IG, Instagram, at MasonOxendale.
Cool.
Starting to be a little more active on there. So I don't post really too much, but I do a lot of stories. And I find some really good memes to put on there too, so go check it out.
Cool. And then obviously we're missing Joseph Morris and Scott Curtis tonight, but their links to their social media is going to be in the description of the episode, so feel free to check out what they're doing as well. And I'm Thaddeus Claus with Sledgehammers in the Office, where we help people take care of their houses by connecting them with real estate professionals and construction professionals. You can follow me at Thad AZ Realty for what I'm doing in real estate, and at SITO_building for what we're doing in construction. And until next time, I hope your hammer stays accurate, your Wi-Fi fast, and your work blessed. See you, everybody.
Ho, ho, ho.